Hi, everybody. How's it going? Good?
Being in the church is so weird.
Are you on?
Because I'm like, can I put this here? I don't think you can put it there.
No?
I don't know.
I'm just gonna hold it now for the rest of it. Well,
Everything feels so sacred.
I feel like this is fine.
That's fine.
Yeah. I don't think Jesus
Jesus
goes
doesn't
there.
stand there.
Yeah, I don't think Jesus goes there. But I don't know. I think...
Ask your questions, man.
You know what? I don't want to do this. So, hi, everybody. Welcome. I'm Traci Thomas. That's Jason Reynolds. He's got a new book. I don't even have the book with me.
It's okay.
Well, it's called Coach. Do y'all know the track series? Yeah. Hi. So it's the last one.
It's the last one.
It's about Coach.
I'm so happy that it's over.
Okay, this is where I want to start. Because we talked about this. You wrote 4. Then you wrote a bunch of other things. You said, I'm not writing Coach's story. And then all of a sudden, I get an email that says, announcing Jason Reynolds, Coach, the final book in the track series. And I said, what happened?
Peer pressure. Peer pressure. You know what it is? I'm not one of these people. Anyone who knows me personally or who knows sort of me in real life knows that when a thing is done, it's done. Like, I'm not one of these people who sort of leaves the door open to go back and revisit a thing. I don't really believe in sequels much. Like, I mean, the track series was a series that I signed on as a series, so I knew exactly what it was going to be. And even those books are technically 4 standalone books. Like, I'm not a guy who does the sequel thing. Just because I think that sequels are always terrible.
Sister Act 2 is better than Sister Act 1.
Okay, so Sister Act 2...
A perfect sequel.
Sister Act 2 is better. Actually, I think the Sister Acts are actually on par with one another, right? If you go back and look now, I'm pretty sure, because Sister Act 2 is actually just full of tropes. It might as well be Dangerous Minds or any of these other shit. Seriously, like, it's all tropey.
But it has an incredible finale.
Sister Act 1 was about a gangster who became a nun to protect, like,
okay,
that's a story, right?
Maybe a better premise.
I'm just letting you know that they're actually on the same.
Is better.
I just think that okay. If we're gonna talk about movies that are better than this, we can talk about Godfather 2.
Never seen it.
We should move on.
Yeah.
So anyway, I wasn't planning on doing the thing. Everywhere I would go, people would say, like, hey man, track series was great. Are you going to tell Coach's story? I would always say, no. I've told you this before. We've had these comments. No. Because my theory was nobody would care because all of your favorite characters weren't born. If I tell Coach's story, then Ghost, Patina, Sonny, and Lou, and Aaron, and Stoneface Mikey, and all these people, they don't exist yet. And then the pressure got the best of me, and enough time had passed where I felt like, maybe I'll just do a standalone story that the publishing talking heads will then call it like the last book in the track series, and really it's its own thing. And you can read it at the beginning, you can read it as book 0, you can read it as book 5, or you could just read it as its own thing and not read the other 4 books. That way I didn't feel so tired, or I didn't feel the pressure of like making sure we have all this other stuff right. And that's really what it was. And when I started writing it, I realized that it gave me an opportunity to give young people some context about what their parents' lives might have been like, what it was like in '88, right? Carl Lewis is sort of turning our minds upside down as far as track and field. Back to the Future, right, is sort of a phenomenon. Right?
Also haven't seen it.
It's literally one of the greatest movies of all time, right?
I actually have a question about this for later, but haven't seen it.
Okay. And then thinking about like the crack epidemic, right? HIV and AIDS, right? So for all these young people who are now going through the opioid epidemic of their lifetime, or the pandemic, right? These sorts of things, to give them some parallels to say, like, this is what was happening back then, right? They don't know anything about the AIDS epidemic. It's as if it never happened, which is so interesting. And so I wanted to tell the story about a young man living through that, which then influences why he loved Ghost so much when he met him 40 years later, why he loved Patina, why he understood them so much. You get sort of some insight to all of that.
Was it hard for you to go back into this world? Because I've read enough of your novels to know, like, these books feel stylized to the world, and you've been away from it. So was there something that you had to do to get back to it, or something that clicked for you that made it possible to write these again, or write this again?
Yeah, I mean, I had to reread everything, which, no writer likes to do. Like when you make a book, you never want to read that book that you wrote because you're hopefully a better writer now. And so to read it is pretty cringy. You're like, oof, I would have made different choices. I would have changed that. Ghost really isn't that great, right? In my mind, I'm like, oh, right? Best book in that series is definitely Patina, right? And then second is Lou, in my mind, right? So going back and like reading everything, I'm like, oh God, I would have done this. But also, Glass Manor as a community is the neighborhood I grew up in. So like I can always go, I mean, my mama lived there. Right, so I can always kind of put myself back in that world because I spent so many years in that world as a child, and so it actually isn't that hard to access.
And for those of you who haven't read all of the track series, I'm sort of one of you. I read Ghost. So I was introduced to Jason's work in 2018. So I read Long Way Down and Look Both Ways first. I'm a Look Both Ways person. And then I went back and I read Ghost. And then I had kids. And I just listened to Ghost on audiobook with my kids like a few months ago, and I was making them send book reports to Jason, like, what character did this? And they would be like, oh, that was... And then we started Patina, but we're still listening. And then I went and I read Coach. So if you've not read the series, you could still really like Coach. I cried, which is so embarrassing for me because I pride myself on being a tough monster, but I did. I feel like Coach has a different kind of heart to it. Yeah.
I like it. I think Coach is the best of the series. Some of that is because I'm better, right? Some of that has to do with my own ability, right? Over the course of time, me getting better at understanding how story works, how language works, right? My own stuff, my own style, my own voice, right? And then the other thing is just thinking about how to humanize an adult is always something that I'm interested in. And so to take, because I'm an adult and I think I'm around adults often enough to know that young people have no idea that we were once young, and mainly because we don't tell them, right? We act like we've always been this way when the truth is that like, but you stole shoes. But you were a knucklehead. You stole a car. You did these things. You snuck out. Right? You tried drugs. You tried all these things that we act like never existed once the children come. And so it was cool for me to say, all right, how can I sort of write this grown man as a 12-year-old while also giving sort of like just a glint into the future, just like a small sliver into sort of who he becomes. That way young people can say like, oh, okay, I read these stories and now I understand how this person becomes this person. And so when I look at my mama, I have other questions now. When you're disciplining me, however you're choosing to do so, now I have questions about what your childhood was like. If I have to keep, like my mother, we had to keep our house spotless because my mom grew up in the projects. It's like, yo, we're not gonna have roaches and rats. Unfortunately, you're going to have to scrub everything down in this house because of her upbringing. That was a big deal. Or the fact that my mom was a pack rat because she was always afraid of running out of things because of her childhood. And once I understood that, then I didn't have to be annoyed anymore that we were buying gallons of ketchup at Costco, right? In case we somehow ran out of ketchup, right? And so that made it. I think that is what sort of where the heart was injected, is sort of having empathy for the future version of him and writing that into the young version of him.
Okay. You're kind of talking about something that I think about a lot with young people's books, which is like, when you write for younger people, I think there's an expectation that there's going to be a moral to the story, right? Like, I'm going to teach you something, I'm going to learn something. And I think your books do that. But not in a way that annoys me as an adult.
Listen.
Not that I'm the audience, but like that you find ways to include something worthwhile for young people to take and think about. But are you thinking about that? Like, how much are you thinking about, like, I really want kids to understand?
I really hate morals. I'm sure that'll be tweeted, right?
Yeah.
Jason
Reynolds, immoral in a church.
Or he's amoral. He's amoral and immoral, right? I think I hate, my job isn't to teach. I just don't really buy into that whole thing. That's not my gig, right? That's your gig, right? My job isn't to do that. I always say my job is just to bear witness. Now, do I think that there are interesting things that I'm asking young people to consider. Sure, right? But there's never any black and white to my stories. There's never any sort of, like, most of my work lives in this strange gray, like, you know, Ghost, the big controversy of Ghost is the two things, right? Ghost's father tries to shoot him, and shortly after that, he says how much he wishes his father was home, despite his father trying to kill him, and his mother, right? That's complicated stuff, but that is real, right? And then the other one is Ghost steals the shoes, but he steals the shoes for a good reason, in his own mind, right? How do you play with the ambiguity of morality? Because that's really what our lives are closer to that than this idea that there is a definite right, there's a definite wrong. I think in certain cases there is a definite right and wrong, by the way. I think that we do have moments in our lives where we know that, like, this is wrong, right? But I think the majority of our everyday experiences, we're kind of like, it could go either way, depending upon who you're speaking to and the context and environmental cues and all the other things that take, the politics involved, all the other things that take place that sort of change the way we view it. I think young people deserve that ambiguity. They deserve the complexity and the nuance of a gray life, right? And so, because of that, and Coach, has anyone read Coach yet, by the way? Nobody? Wow. So it's been out for, like, I don't know, 2-3 weeks. Maybe this was a mistake, right? Like, but
don't listen to peer pressure. That's the moral of the story.
I should have known better, right? They didn't even want it, right?
No.
But I'll say there's you know how, like, in the track series, all the chapter titles are always something silly. Well, in Coach, all the chapter titles are the moral of the story is, right? And the reason why is because the moral of the story is a thing that his father uses as a disciplinary method, right? Whenever he gets something wrong, the father is like, well, what's the moral of the story, right? What did you learn from this? But for me, as the writer of this, it was me poking fun at this idea that, like, there has to be a moral of the story, right? This is me basically poking at you, the reader, poking at the industry, right? Poking at all of the people who say that our books are supposed to be teaching a thing. If you learn a thing from it, great, but my job isn't to necessarily teach, it's to present the information and see what it is that you glean from it, because I respect you enough to not force feed you who you are to be.
So in the book,
they haven't read it. It's been 3 weeks. Let's spoil it. I don't care.
No, I'm not spoiling.
No, we're definitely spoiling.
I don't spoil. I want to talk about Back to the Future.
Oh, let's talk about it.
It's a large plot point in the book. It's not, I mean, it's a large piece of the book, and it's a movie that comes up a lot. Apparently people have seen it. I mean, I don't know.
Why haven't you seen this movie?
So
we talked about this. Actually,
I haven't seen a lot of movies that everyone else has seen.
And you claim to love pop culture, but I don't
but
buy
I wasn't alive for some of this stuff, and then I just haven't gone back to some of it. I mean, like, I don't know. Have you seen 7 Brides for 7 Brothers? Okay, so, like, there's just different old movies I've seen.
Yeah, but was that as big as Back to the Future?
I mean, at the time, I mean, the Raising the Barn dance number is iconic.
Traci,
some of us like musicals.
Just to give you some context, Back to the Future literally gave us the blueprint of what we thought the year 2000 was supposed to be like, or the year 2019 was supposed to be like, right? We literally were seeing what they imagined for us, what we thought it was going to be like to live in today's time. This was a huge deal.
I know it was a big deal. I missed
your question. I'm just so annoyed at
this. Well, Mike, this is my question. Well, guess what? The tables are about to be turned, because my question is, what's a movie that everybody else has seen that you've still never seen?
Nothing. Except for 7 Brides. Except 7 Brides for 7 Brothers. I've watched everything.
Everything?
I mean, let me think. Okay, let me be serious. Let's see.
Have you seen Center Stage?
Center Stage? No, I haven't seen Center Stage.
Oh, I've seen everything.
Okay, hold on. How many people in here have seen Center Stage?
Thank you, my people.
That's like 8% of the room.
Okay. And my people.
So, like, we have to pick a movie that we...
Oh yeah, how many of you have seen this small indie film? It's literally the same number of people have seen Back to the Future. It's the same...
What are you talking about? Everyone has seen Back to the Future. Yo, this is okay. Let me think. What's a movie that I have not seen that I should have seen? This is gonna be tough.
You like movies.
I love movies, and I was a movie kid. It was like a babysitter, right? You go to the movie. My mom was like, hey, back when you could, like, for the adults in the room, back when you could, you know, you could just hang out in the movie theater, right? Pay your $3.75, $75 or whatever it was, and just go from theater to theater to theater, right? And so I used to just be in the theater all the time. This is what we did. I'm sorry, you look disgusted, but I'm like...
I just haven't seen a lot of movies, I guess. All the movies that
Have you seen...
Nope,
I mean,
probably not.
What's another one of these, like...
Here, let me give you the list of things I
Okay.
haven't seen so you all can just be like, oh my God, and then we can move on. I have not seen A Godfather. I have not seen a Star Wars. I have not seen
no Star Wars?
Not one single Star Wars.
4, 5, or 6, the classic ones.
I have not seen a single...
Indiana Jones.
Do you understand? Never. I've also not seen all of your favorite Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
You haven't seen...
Nope.
You've never seen...
Nope.
You haven't seen, like, 16 Candles, Breakfast Club.
No.
Have you... What about, like, Parent Trap? What about, like...
Lindsay Lohan.
Have you seen Jurassic Park 1?
Not a single Jurassic Park.
You haven't
Not
seen
a
the first
Jaws.
one? You've never seen Jaws? You've never seen...
Nope.
Nightmare on Elm
I've
Street?
seen Gremlins.
Oh, okay. That's
Never seen The Matrix.
You've never seen The Matrix?
I've not seen
This is
any of your
wild.
favorite movies.
All
It's
right.
an unreal trick
Have
that
you
I
seen
could...
The Lion King?
Yes, not the live action.
No,
but
no, the
animated.
original one.
And I saw the Broadway musical.
Okay.
Multiple
At least you've seen Lion
times.
King. At least we got one.
I have seen every rom-com.
Have you? I'm not so sure.
I've seen
I'm not-
Annie Hall. I've
Okay.
seen When Harry Met Sally.
Okay. So we.
I've seen Love Jones. I've seen Love and Basketball. I've seen all the black
Okay.
ones.
So you've seen those.
I think I just.
All the black ones, all the Jewish ones, right? You've
Yeah.
seen all the,
Yeah,
which are all
exactly.
great.
I am who I am, which is why I don't know where things go in a church. I haven't seen most of your faves.
Most of our faves. You haven't seen most of our
The collective you. We have not seen your faves, and I mean that as the royal we.
including Back to the Future, which in this story is a very important piece of framework.
Yeah.
It's 88. What were you doing in 88?
I was 2. I was toddling.
Can you please watch Back to the Future?
Probably not.
Have you seen Teen Wolf?
No.
Do you know what Teen Wolf is?
No.
Do you know who Michael J. Fox is?
Yes.
Okay.
I do.
But do you really understand the
No,
people,
I don't. That's the
Okay.
thing. He was too famous before I cared
Michael
about
J.
famous
Fox
people.
was a legend beyond legends.
I think that the correct thing is that I came into my pop culture interest in the 90s. So a lot of
so you
things that
missed all of
predate the 90s, I got deep in. You know, I've seen all those teen movies. How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, 10 Things I Hate About You, She's All That. That is really, that's
90s.
really that
All right,
late.
that's cool.
Yeah.
Can you please just watch Back? For all the young people in the room, if you are a person who's under the age of 30 or 28, 27, can you please watch Back to the Future if you haven't seen it? If you want to know, just watch Back. And the plot of Back to the Future is also so smart because it has nothing to do with Marty McFly actually wanting to explore time travel. He's just trying to save his parents. It's a really, really brilliant, beautiful movie.
Okay.
And I know you're going to watch it's so corny. It's 40 years later.
I know.
But at the time in which it was made, that movie really changed. It rewired so many of our brains to the point that we were mad when 2000 came or 2019, and we were like, where are hoverboards? The fact that the word hoverboard exists is
Okay.
because of this film.
But do you think that maybe I've won because I didn't have that disappointment? And maybe in some weird way, I broke.
I just don't think you understand the book Coach then.
I don't. You don't think I understand why?
I don't think you can understand the book then.
Well, I liked it. I cried. So
Just watch the movie.
I'll
Anyway,
watch the movie.
What if we just did this for the rest of the time? We're just let's talk about The Shining, right?
Definitely
Which I
not
know
seen
you,
that.
You've seen it?
No. I can't see a scary movie. That's I get nightmares.
It's not even really scary. I mean, it's spooky. It's
Okay,
strange.
people say it's not that scary. You don't understand.
Have you seen Shawshank Redemption?
Yes, and that movie is also scary, kind of.
What is happening? What is scary about Shawshank Redemption?
You know the scene where they call him and he's like, the warden's like, come on down, we're just gonna talk to you. And
it's prison, so I guess it's scary, but
it is scary, it's tense. I don't know. I do love Shawshank Redemption. That's a 90s movie.
Who wrote Shawshank Redemption?
Stephen King. It's a short story. And Tim Robbins is in it, and Morgan Freeman. I've seen it many times.
I almost had to walk out.
I know who Stephen King is.
I know you know.
I know book things. I just don't know movie things. Do you have
Have you seen Stand By Me?
I have. Twice.
Have you seen Boys in the Hood?
What?
Boys in the Hood.
Yes.
New Jack City.
Yes.
All right.
I've seen Black Things.
Okay.
Has everybody seen A League of Their Own?
Yes, of course.
That's my favorite
There's no
movie.
crying in baseball.
That's the greatest film of all time.
Have you seen Sandlot?
Of course.
All right, you're
forever.
okay. But you're a baseball person. This is cheating.
This is cheating.
What's your next question? You're a baseball person, so of course you've seen these movies. But go ahead.
Okay, I want to go back to books, allegedly.
Sorry, everybody. I know you're all so disappointed.
Listen, you can get Jason Reynolds talking about books and writing everywhere. You can't get Jason Reynolds furious at me for not seeing Back to the Future anywhere but here at the Texas Book Festival.
That's fair.
That's true. So this is really...
And all these things, I will say, before we move on, because you're right, actually, and I will say this, I'm always interested in, at some point one day, talking about what the curiosities are that make up this stuff. Because we talk about the books all the time, but no one actually knows the curiosities, right? There are a lot of things that are happening in here. There are a lot of things that I'm consuming, that I've been consuming over the course of a lifetime, the conversations that I've had, the friends that I've made. And like all of that stuff, we actually have been talking about the book. I know it probably sounds like we haven't been, but the truth is, this is what books are made of. Like, this is how stories are made. This is how it works. So don't be dismayed. You're like, don't leave like, I can't believe I wasted my time on this. But the truth is like, this is the way it goes. Continue.
So you're a writer. Are you guys familiar with the term a pantser and a planner? Do you know that? Okay, so if you don't know, a planner is like a writer who like uses an outline to write their story, and then a pantser are writers who fly by the seat of their pants. They just come up with an idea and they're like, the dog walked down the street, period.
It's not exactly
to go to the dog park. Are you a planner or a pantser?
What do you think? If you had to guess?
Okay, so the reason this question came to me, it was in reading Coach. I think that I thought that you were a planner, but now I think that you are a pantser.
Because the book just feels unmoored?
No, it felt like more, it felt looser.
Yeah.
That just might be you changing as a writer?
I've never used an outline. The track series was brutal to make because I'd never used an outline. I'd never actually planned how each book would go. So in order for me to write Patina, I had to go back, read Ghost, and figure out where my human error is. Right? Where did I make a mistake so that I could close the hole? And then build Patina's story out of the hole. And then when Sunny came, I had to go back and read Patina and say, like, where did I mess this up? Like, what didn't the audience catch that I can now catch and close the hole by building out this character, right? And so most of, I've never used, the only time I've ever used an outline, I was forced to write one for Spider-Man, and will never do it again, and have never done it again, and will never do it again. Only because my theory is that if the book isn't an adventure for me, it won't be an adventure for you. I mean, and like, for instance, you said you came to my work a little later,
yeah,
right? And so Coach feels looser to you, but the people who were reading my work up to Ghost was the book that everybody felt like, oh, he found whatever he's looking for, where it feels a little looser, right? Where like whatever that thing that I had been searching for as far as like my style, it clicked in Ghost, right? But you see remnants of it in As Brave as You, the beginning of As Brave as You, where I'm playing around with the language, poop and poopidity and all these weird sort of language stuff that I'm playing around with. And then you see glimpses of it a little, like if you sort of follow the trajectory, you see me searching for something and it clicks in Ghost, and I think it just clicks again. It changes itself as I move forward, but it clicks again in Coach, I think.
What is it about an outline that doesn't work for you?
It feels like work before the work. I was a kid and I wasn't a good student. And so because I wasn't like a studious kid and I struggled in school, we really, Roman numerals and capital letters and lowercase letters, to think about storytelling as a young person felt ridiculous when our whole lives, our realities are built by stories being told to us that don't contain Roman numerals and capital letters and lowercase letters, right? Our parents are telling us stories, and teachers are telling us stories, our uncles are telling us stories, and TV is telling us stories, and songs are telling us stories, and we never get to see the planning process. So when you're a young person, it feels like work before the work. I just want to tell the story. I want to do what I see my mom and them do around the table on Friday nights, or what my uncles and them do during Thanksgiving when the booze come out, right? And everybody's just kind of gathering. I want to do it that way. I don't want it, but I never want it to feel like work. Like, the truth is, for me, writing, though is work, I try my best to figure out how to keep it play. I just want it to feel like play. I want to play around. There are usually moments in my process where I'm wrestling with something that I can't quite get through, or I can't quite find the thing, or it's not quite working, and I don't know why. And usually it has to do with the fact that I'm taking myself too seriously. And the moment that I can return to play, that I can return to, like, the child part of me, the childlike part of me, that's like, we get to make a mess of things. This is no different from painting or dancing or anything else. It doesn't have to be, like, everybody else looks at literature as this upper echelon thing. And it kind of ruins the experience for me. Even literary events are like stush, right? It's this weird thing that we look at the book as something sacred, and I'm okay with that, because I do think language is sacred. But I wish we could look at the book the way we look at music, the way we look at movies and film, right? The kind of sort of like vigor that we could have this movie conversation around. We don't have those conversations around books because it gets way too serious and judgy in a different way. We judge Traci for not seeing Back to the Future because it's funny and it's pop culture, but we don't see books as popular culture, and therefore we hold them up as academia and these sort of totems of intellectualism, which they don't actually have to be and usually are not. We just give them that kind of power. I'm just trying to have a good time and be an entertainer. Yeah?
As you know, this is my own personal hill that I want to die on, which is that we need to be talking about books in the way that we talk about other pop culture, because that's the only way that books can thrive and survive and people want to read them, is if when you finish a book, you know that you can go to someone else and be like, it's the worst thing I ever read, or, oh my God, all I did was cry, or the book was so good and then the last 50 pages made me so mad I threw it in the trash can. And when you can't have those conversations, you're less likely to read a book, because you're like, I don't want people to think I'm too stupid for this or whatever. But I want to ask a quick question about the play part. Actually, no, I'm changing my mind. Just going left field. Jason has done my podcast, The Stacks, many times. And one of the questions I always ask is about snacks and beverages. And Jason is one of my most favorite authors, one of my friends. I adore Jason, but he has a fatal flaw. He doesn't like snacks.
This is not true.
Okay, sorry. He likes snacks, but he doesn't eat them, which honestly is worse. Any snack updates for us? Anything you're into that's delicious?
Yeah, so actually, yes.
Yes. Don't say celery.
It's not celery.
Okay.
First of all, let me give some context. The reason why, so first of all, I love snacks. I have a terrible sweet tooth. Therefore, I keep them away from me because I want to live.
Okay, justice for snacks. Don't try to be like, snacks are going to kill me. Okay.
And because I'm really, really vain.
Okay.
And so I try to, and I'm honest about that. So I try to, keep it together, right?
Okay.
That's all, right? To be honest with you, right? That's it. But I order, this is gonna sound so strange, but here we go. I order like 300, and I do this once a month. I order like 300 miniature Kit Kats, but I order them from Japan. Because the Japanese have all the flavors. It's like milk tea Kit Kat and key lime Kit Kat, and like it's wild. And then I put them in the refrigerator.
That's the correct way to eat them.
And occasionally
I do have a follow-up.
And once or twice a day, I just am like, and then yeah.
Okay, when you get a variety pack like this,
yeah, do
you randomly take a flavor, like, okay, I'm gonna grab two, or do you go like, I'm going all cherry blossom,
No.
going all milk
I just
tea.
put my hand in, and I'm just like, and then I pull out. And then I just, and sometimes I even keep my eyes closed while I just do like this, and then I eat it. And then it's like surprise, right?
And then you try to guess what flavor it is? Or
no,
can you always tell?
you can all. It's the
Okay,
flavors are
they're
just
far
so.
apart enough.
Yeah,
Okay,
I would really. I hope all of you get to eat Japanese Kit Kat. You can just order them online. I promise you, it'll be hard for you to ever eat a regular Kit Kat again.
Amazing.
We are being robbed in this country. You don't even know. It's wild how we're being slighted when it comes to Kit Kats. So do yourselves a favor. And by the way, this too shows you where my brain is as it pertains to making these books. If you read my work, this shouldn't surprise you. You should be like, yeah, this is where all of this comes from. You know what I mean?